Hello, this is Cooking Can Be Fun with Eldene. Today we will be making Featherpuff Rolls. We have 2 packages of active dry yeast, 2 eggs, 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt, 1/2 cup of warm water, 1 stick of butter, 1/4 cup of sugar, 2/3 cup of milk, and 4 cups of sifted all-purpose flour. Here we have the 2/3 cup of whole milk. We will pour it into the pot and then we'll take it to the stove and bring it to scalding. Milk is scalded now and you see there's a small film, and you just remove that and then turn off the heat, and then you can remove it to another burner away from the heat. I have the 1 stick of butter that's cut up in small pieces, and I like to cut it up in small pieces so it will melt faster in the scalded milk. This is the 1/4 cup of sugar and the 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. Now we will stir this. Okay, now I'm going to add the yeast to the warm water, and you can stir it and you let it dissolve before you add it to the other ingredients. Now we will pour the milk, butter, sugar, and salt mixture into a large bowl, and we let it cool until it's lukewarm. Now we will add the yeast and water mixture to the cooled milk mixture. And we stir it. We are now going to beat the eggs, have well-beaten eggs. And once it gets well beaten, then we will add it to the other mixture. Now we add approximately 1/2 of the flour. And then we will stir this in. Sometimes I like to use a fork at the very end, and that takes out a lot of the lumps, because this time at this point you have more lumps in it. And then once you do that, you can just go ahead and add the rest of the flour. And we're just going to stir it until it's all into the dough. Next, we will beat this 100 times, and you count it as you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what you try to do really is inculcate the air, so you sort of raise this up, and that must be like 10, 11, 12. Then you can turn the bowl as you go. 14, 15, 16, 17, 98, 99, 100. Next, I use a rubber spatula and I go around the edges of the dough to bring it away from the sides of the bowl. And at this point, you sort of just even it out a little bit. Then you add some oil to go on top. And you can just use your finger to let the oil, just put oil over the top surface. Now I'm going to place the wax paper on the top, and I have a clean, wet, warm dish towel, which I'm going to place on the top of this. And we place it in a dark, warm spot for approximately 1 hour. The recipe says an hour, but I decided to let it stay 15 more minutes, and this is what it looks like after it has risen, an hour and 15 minutes. Next thing we'll do is punch the dough, and we call it punching the dough down. And you just hit it with your fist. So after we punch it down, then we beat it 100 times again. And again, this is a little bit more difficult to do it the second time, but you just go ahead and beat it 100 times. And then at this point, I like to roll it out onto a prepared pastry cloth, because I find that makes a nice working surface. We need to make 24 rolls. So what I do is I divide it first into 4 parts, And then each of these 4, you will have 6. Okay, I have divided this into 24 rather equal pieces just with the knife. And now you just take one at a time and roll it in your hand, sort of, you give it a little bit of pressure, and you form it into a ball. And once you have it into a nice ball, you place the ball in the center of each muffin tin. This is the way they look when you're ready for the last rising. We will let them rise between 30 and 45 minutes until it's double in bulk, and then we will bake them after that. This is the way the rolls look after they have risen the second time, and they're ready to place now into a preheated oven. The temperature is 375 in a preheated oven. Okay, now we have them browned, and we're going to place them on a rack to cool. This is our finished product, Featherpuff Rolls, that are fit for a king. Full recipe is below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Cooking Can Be Fun with Eldene. Bye-bye.